Hey, AfterBuzzers and iZombie fans, we are back, Season 4, Episode 3, to talk all things zombies. And guess what? Are the zombies taking over? We're not quite sure. And doth there be lots of love and chocolatey brains in this episode? You won't want to miss this discussion because we're breaking it down. Don't click that mouse.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down.
Welcome to the Space Jam.
Guys, this is too much of a jam to let this one go. All right.
You just gotta dance this one out. Wait, what was the dance?
Running Man? Guys, what's up? Welcome back. We are talking all things iZombie, and we had to play Space Jam because they played it in the club, and me and Drew were dancing it out. It was so much fun. Guys, you've got your hosts over here, Ally Nasta. We've got Drew Jones. We've got Nakia. I always want to call her Kiki Boo.
I know, everyone does.
and then last but not least, we've got Shawnteairra. How are you ladies doing tonight?
Great.
Wonderful.
I love it. Jinx, you owe me a soda. That's bringing me back. Like this song is bringing me back.
Bring you back to your childhood.
Alrighty, ladies. iZombie. Overall thoughts of this episode. What was it? Brainless in Seattle, Part 1.
Hilarious. I feel like, and I also seen someone tweet this as well, because sometimes I'll go to the hashtag of certain shows just to see what people are tweeting about. And someone's like, as every season goes on and every episode, it's like the show gets funnier. Because like last week was hilarious to me, but this one, like I was crying. Like, I don't know, I love iZombie. It's always funny to me.
Yeah, I loved Liv's character this episode. She was killing it. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I love how I feel like I say this every week, but every character that she plays, it's so dramatic. Like she was like the hopeless romantic. It was just so much, I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Maddie Fernandez in the chat said it reminded me of the older iZombie episodes, and I agree. It was very like nostalgic of like seasons 1 and 2, and I just like I like how the cases are now tying into a bigger plot line.
Yeah.
Where instead of it just being like episode by episode, it kind of has like nothing to do with like the season as a whole. I like how this one is very much playing into, I think, like, you know,
how to kind of solve this zombie issue, or that it's not all zombies, it's serial killers too.
Yeah.
So yeah, like there's actual crime going on that's outside of the zombie world, and that's what they're trying to figure it out. I 100% agree, and it was just kind of fun to see Liv be her little zombie character self, and it's really fun to see everybody kind of just surround around her and cheer her on. You know, it's so great. Speaking of cheering, let's just get right into the whole Peyton, Ravi, and Liv makeover. That was probably one of my favorite scenes out of this, like ever.
Mine too,
it was. I love Ravi. I think his character and everything he does to kind of give it that extra fun. Like he could have easily just been like, no, I'm leaving and not stop. But he, meanwhile, was like, all right, you said makeover, like maybe I'll come and like have fun.
Liv has the best friends, and can we just say that him in a suit is just everything?
Oh yeah, he was
because he's just so tall, and he's like tall, dark, and handsome, and he has that British accent. So him in the damn suit, I was like, yes, love it. But I feel like Liv has like some of the best friends because they're all supportive and they're all goofy and they all love to have fun. So I do like that they were like, let's do a makeover, and he was super game for the makeover. And of course, like all her friends have been supportive since, well, Ravi since day one, because he's one of the first people who knew that she was a zombie.
What I loved about this episode was it had so many elements of a rom-com, and I think the perfect example was the makeover with them like dancing. I was like, I literally just kept thinking of all these different rom-coms where like this exact scene went down, and it was just so funny how they all played it up more than it really was.
Right.
And then him ending in a crop top is like all I ever needed.
It's so great. And I just all their relationships and how like they really were just like, well, you know, we're going to go with this one because she's a fun romantic girl, loving every man she sees, love at first sight. Shawnteairra, were you going to say something?
Oh, no, I was going to say that, I kind of wish that he would have just kept the crop top on. I thought it was hilarious. But I definitely enjoyed the, you know, that scene. And even with Major walking in and being like, you're in my
Right.
clothes. And I was thinking, I was like, wait, Major has a crop top?
Yeah.
Right, wait, that is actually true.
Right.
Well, I think he folded it up to make it a crop
Okay.
top.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Because he
okay.
started like pulling it down, so I think he was like trying to pull it. But it was kind of fun how Major's like, "Wait, we're fighting right now, also. So
Yeah.
whatever's going on here, I don't care."
Yeah.
But also, you know, it's fun and helps you learn and grow in all areas of your life other than makeovers.
What, girl?
Is Maria Menounos podcast. We have the perfect podcast for you. Conversations with Maria Menounos podcast edition is hosted by our one and only AfterBuzz TV founder, Maria Menounos, and drops every Friday on iTunes. Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews, along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of life, from health and wellness to career and relationships, finances, and more. Let our Maria be the big sister that you never had. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. Guys, it's free on iTunes podcast, okay? Be sure to rate and comment, and when you do, let Maria know it was us who got you there. Your iZombie girls got you to the podcast.
Yeah.
If it's free, it's for me. So
Right.
I'm here for it.
Again, that's Conversations with Maria Menounos podcast edition. Go check it out. It's so much fun. All the interviews are amazing, and Maria herself is quite an amazing woman that you guys should definitely check out this podcast.
Yes.
Man, I just love her, and I love
She's
the
everything.
podcast. She's everything, and I also loved Live Tonight. Let's get into her character with the whole Annie case. So, breaking it down, we've got Annie who finds a coyote to sneak her into Seattle because she has an online relationship with
Alan.
With
Tim Allen.
Considering there was love at first sight for Liv and this Alan character, what was the favorite part of Liv taking over Annie?
First of all, I love that Annie and Alan met in a Bridget Jones chat room because I feel like I would be in that Bridget Jones rom-com chat room. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't.
Right.
But but I loved everything about it. Like even now when she was making her, I know we're gonna talk about this later, but her specific brain food and what it was and how literally she took her first bite and she magically like fell in love with like any person she would meet. I don't know. She was cracking me up so much. So I went on Twitter and I was reading Malcolm, who plays Clive, and he was tweeting that this scene, the whole episode was really hard to do because he literally kept laughing the whole time, working with Rose, who plays Liv.
Yeah.
So I was like, I could just imagine being on set with all them and literally crying, laughing every scene that they had to shoot.
Yeah, I love just how we get to see like her version of reality versus actual reality. Like we see the slow-mo and like, you know, the cheesy rom-com music playing in the background, and then like for instance in the club when she's making out with Tim, it seems all beautiful and passionate, and then we see Robbie and Peyton's point of view and it looks like two dogs fighting over a bone.
Right.
Slobbering on each other.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so true.
So I can't. But I think like I feel like everybody does that when they meet someone that they're like crushing on really hard. Like it's just like they see it through, was it rose-colored lenses?
Yes.
Yeah. And obviously she goes from Alan to Tim within like not even 5 hours.
And it forgets about Alan.
Also, do you guys think that Alan's going to be coming back into the picture once we gain more information and intel about this Annie resolution and trying to find out how she actually got killed?
Absolutely. I mean, Clive even said that when she said that she, you know, was met the love of her life or whatnot, Clive even said that, you know, he could be like the killer, you know? So I definitely feel like that he'll be back for sure.
I kind of hope so too, because I felt like it was a little unanswered. Like I really liked this episode, but that was the one thing that I was like, well, wait, what about Alan? Like, is he gonna come back? Are they gonna? But one thing, like Drew said earlier, what I love about iZombie, like each episode is actually playing into like a bigger story, and sometimes you might not find out until like the season finale. So that's one thing that I really do love about the show. So I hope he does come back.
And they also remember Clive even showed Liv the pictures of him holding the gun.
Right.
So I definitely know he'll be back for sure. I just thought about that.
So do you think that he's probably a part of the bigger picture crimes, like the serial killer that we have going on here? I was thinking, let me know your thoughts on this, that maybe these coyotes are, you know, trying to find people that are in vulnerable places, and they know that a Bridget Jones chat where they can easily maybe manipulate someone into falling in love with them and maybe, you know, making that leap. Because obviously, as we got word from inside, oh my gosh,
Fillmore Graves.
Yeah, Fillmore Graves. We heard that there is a brain shortage, and soon things are going to be taking over. So they're clearly trying to find brains elsewhere. Do you guys think maybe I'm looking too far into it, or is that something that could be a possibility?
I personally don't think that we're necessarily going to see Alan back in. I feel like he was just kind of like a helper character. I don't necessarily think he's going to have like a bigger part of it, or he has like some type of malicious intention. I think they, you know, the appeal of the zombie thing is you're in perfect health, and or like in her particular case, yeah, it was for getting someone on the inside, but for like the guy that we see later on in the episode, he had
Parkinson's, I think he said.
Yeah. So it was like for perfect health. So I don't feel like they have to really go look, like they don't have to really lure people in. I feel like it's something that they can just chill on the dark web and like people come to them.
But do you think that so you don't think Alan is part of the Coyotes?
I think it was just a tide. It just happened that way.
Right.
I don't think because I feel like because even like when Renegade was like, I wish she would have found me. I feel like I don't think they go out their way to go find people. I think people come find them.
Right. And so then but that's what my whole question was. How did she go about finding, obviously she was on the dark web and found the coyote, but like I feel like maybe I keep going back and forth. Alan would have had some sort of help as to how she could find this coyote.
And it's people with money too, or it's like they're letting people know, like, if you do come, you have to bring all this money. Because if you notice, I think that they said that she wiped out, when Clive came to she wiped out her bank account. And then when they pull up to the gate before she's killed, he gives that dude a wad of money. So I'm like, are they taking people's money and then killing them and saying, like, pretty much, thank you so much, taking their brains and then they're out?
Right.
Because, like, why would she wipe, unless she was just thinking, like, I'm moving here for the rest of my life, I'm about to marry this dude. Maybe that's why she wiped out her bank account. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, because it's like they're way too good at manipulating these people in order to get what they want.
Right.
Because that is a lot of steps that they have to do.
So I hope, like, maybe part 2, Alan makes another cameo so we could just get some answers, you know, some questions answered. Because I am a little confused about that.
Right. But I do see what you're saying, Drew, because there's always that one person in all these cases that is just like the one that leads them to the answer. Yeah. You know, like there's like the son and that last one, it wasn't the son, it was the mother, you know? So, like, they're just the one that kind of leads them a little bit further.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I guess that makes sense. I'm really interested to see how this storyline really does tie into the bigger picture, only because we're now dealing with a serial killer. Yeah. And Clive figures that out, and so this is a whole nother ballgame for them. It's not just a zombie that they're, like, trying to figure out.
Right.
This serial killer is working with the zombie, so he clearly has all the protection he would need. Yeah. I would assume.
I think that's what makes me look like forward to the next episode and even the rest of the season, because I feel like that now it's getting really good. Yeah. And usually if we find out like what happened to the person who like died, and I think in this case like we don't know, so it's like the suspense. I'm like, damn, like I have to wait until next week to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was anyone else curious why, like this little off topic, but why the zombies were shot in the head in the beginning of the episode?
So that's the thing. So that's what's happened. I guess as Renegade was, it's either Renegade that was saying or someone else, I missed that these people are coming into Seattle and they're kind of just like, it's like they're not luring them in, but they're kind of lying to them. They climb that wall and then they shoot them in the head and they just take their brains. So it's like me and you, like we're all like, let's go to Seattle because we heard it's popping. We get there and they're like, oh, thank you so much. We'll take your money. And then they just shoot you in the head and they take your brains. So that's where I could see like where Ally was getting that like the story of like how she was lured, but it is still confusing.
Because I thought maybe it was because it was a checkpoint where they were being shot. So I thought maybe it was people trying to get out. Because they were talking about the issue of, because later on in the episode, they were talking about the issue of someone trying to lure zombies out into the outside world.
That makes a good point because Annie wasn't killed with that group.
Right.
She was running away from him, from the coyote, in order to escape. And so those people that were lined up in front of the checkpoint could have been those, maybe they were the, like, no offense, you know what I mean? Like, Fillmore Graves is taking it hard, so. But that was kind of confusing, the way that they filmed that, because I was so lost, and I wasn't thinking that was Annie when they were telling the story. I thought she was one of the people lined up, but then towards the end, I was like, oh, duh.
The only reason I thought, because remember when they get to the checkpoint, and she gives the money to the dude, and he's like, don't worry, you're fine. And then she watches them get shot. So it's kind of one of those things like, we'll take your money. I don't know. This should become out anyway.
Also,
like,
we find out that there's a brain shortage, so I feel like maybe they were trying to get out because you know, we've seen this since season 4 began. We've seen like people hungry,
Right?
So maybe they're like, I should just get out of here.
It's very interesting. It's like a mystery. Like I would love to. I can't. Like I don't want to rush it, but I can't wait to see like the end to see like what is going on and what's happening.
Right. Well, let's get into Major and the whole Jordan situation and how this is one of the recruits that he set up and she scratches somebody. And so now they're getting sued and apparently there is footage of this happening.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like Fillmore Graves really cares too much because they're basically just like find the footage and don't let it get out and we don't have to deal with it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's their issue is they're just kind of like, oh, we'll figure it out. And they're the ones that injected these people. And then here we are. Like, and they're like freaking out because they're about to run out of food for these zombies that are about to turn, and they're about to get taken over.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I think that Fillmore Graves has, you know, a lot on his plate, has so much going on. So when I saw Major bring it to his attention about Jordan, I think that he obviously didn't seem like he cared because he has a lot going on. But I think the way Major framed it, I think he actually helped Jordan out. I mean, the fact that he was like, oh, like, you know, we're getting sued and oh, Fillmore Graves is a defendant. Oh, she was wearing. I mean, he kept saying all these things. I think that he was in a sense trying to cover Jordan and help her. That way because I mean, we all know what happens when you scratch someone. So I believe that whole thing is like
a setup.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I'm not buying it at all. And then even afterwards, he was just like, he even said like, thank you to the chick that was up front. So I'm just not, I'm not buying it at all.
Yeah, I also feel like the whole situation is kind of like the house is on fire and like Major's trying to put out fires that are like out in the front yard that have really nothing to do with anything valuable. Like, yeah, that's not that grave a situation, but we have what, 6 months left worth of brains before 10,000 zombies start starving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just feel like it was one of those like, yeah, that sucks, but
Right. And let's not forget that we have Ingus cultivating an entire crew of people that are just killing people because he says kill them.
Right.
yeah.
Crazy. But I will say, I'm like, but Major kind of did warn Chase when he wanted to recruit the 2 kids. He's like, you know, these guys, they don't have training. We can't just throw them in there.
Right.
And Chase was like, it's fine. We'll just figure it out. But one thing I do like, I like Chase's personality because it's really weird and strange, but kind of hot at the same time. Because even the way he's presented things, because even when Major was telling him, he's like, okay. And then when he's visiting Blaine, he has a very interesting personality. But he has a lot to go on. He has a lot going on because he's putting out the fires. He has to figure out what's happening. There's zombies turning. So it's like everything is now on his plate after his was it his sister-in-law?
Yeah, no, it was his sister.
Yeah.
And then I agree with you. I feel like it's one of those things like he wasn't planning to have to do any of this. Like his sister was running the show and was killed. Then Plan B got, started up without him wanting it to. So it's like he's really had to kind of just like freestyle this entire thing, and obviously that's not working for him.
Yeah.
Right. And now he's kind of like running up. Remember, did we use this thing last time when you were in a scary movie and you run up to the attic and then you're like, I have nowhere to go. Like that's what's happening.
Literally.
And he's gonna have zombies chasing after them.
Yeah.
So yeah, crazy stuff, man. And like they said, 10,000 zombies they made, and that's how many people are gonna be starving, and they have 4 to 6 months to keep these people.
And that's like a bare minimum,
right?
Like that's them just eating enough to get by.
Yeah.
I don't know about you all, but
I was gonna ask.
I get
I'm like,
hangry.
Right. I was gonna be like,
just talking about
human zombie net that they had at the scratching post. Like, would you be willing to be like, well, let me just go chill with a bunch of zombies? Like, no shade to the zombies,
No,
but like,
I was thinking
what if
that
someone
too.
gets pissed? What there's always that one person who's super angry, and then like when people start to get angry and hungry, like I would be scared and be like, bruh.
And I don't know if you noticed too that Liv even said that. Well, when there was only a little bit of the brain of Annie's brain for her, she said that the brain would usually last her about a week. Which isn't, I mean, I didn't even, I got caught then. I was like, okay, so the brain doesn't even last like that long.
I know.
I mean, just a week.
And that's
It's hard out here for the zombies.
That's good to know, though, too, that it was a week, because sometimes in the previous episodes, you would think that a brain would just last a day. Because you would just see her eat one brain, and then you would think that it was just over.
Right.
And
we didn't know she keeps it for the entire week.
Right.
Well, I kind of thought she did just because I didn't think that they got a case done in one day.
Right.
So I just assumed
Right.
and normally with characters she would progressively get worse
As it goes on.
Yeah.
That's true. And I guess You're right.
But I guess I just didn't think it expanded to. I thought maybe like a couple days. I didn't think
I thought it
expanded to like
yeah.
a full week.
Well, and what's interesting too is that whenever we start at the episode, she's completely fine. So you almost forget that she's having to eat these brains to like survive.
Yeah.
So
imagine if you guys had to eat brains to survive.
Even them eating it, and like it just grosses me out whenever I hear what was it? Oh, when Blaine was like eating the brain, I'm like, oh, that noise.
Yeah.
I will say before I came here, I had tuna tartare. But the way random, it was on happy hour. But the way
that sounds amazing.
The way they had it shaped, I think I'm watching iZombie way too much because the way it comes out, it's like they have it in this like little round patty, and it looked like a brain. And I was like, either I'm watching this show way too much.
It's true.
I'm craving brains.
Well, you know you're watching iZombie too much when you like dream about it and you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh. Like it's scary.
Yeah,
it's
so like I'm eating
thing.
brains now. So
yeah,
but it was good.
I'm sure.
Not brains. Not
the brains.
Speaking of other things that are scary is the whole Blaine situation. I mean, I know last time we were saying maybe he's gonna try to like figure something out and be maybe like the better guy, and we've seen him go back and forth. But I think what's interesting is like now he's trying to find Renegade, which Renegade's the good guy and
a good girl.
A good girl. Yeah, sorry. Good. She's the good girl, and he's gonna try and kill her.
I know. Can I just say shout out to Dawn Lewis, who actually plays Renegade from A Different World. I know you guys might be too young for A Different World.
No, I love her.
So I'm happy that she actually, when I seen that she was playing Renegade, I was like, yeah, shout out to Dawn Lewis. I haven't seen her on TV in a while. So
I mean, you just like want to give her a hug and be like, thank you.
I know.
Like I don't know why, but just like thank you for being you.
It sucks that because Blaine, pretty much has to do a job because it's like everyone's doing something for survival.
Yeah,
it's like Chase comes to Blaine and Blaine has to do a job and Blaine doesn't really know who she is or what her deal is, but Liv knows a different side of her, so it kind of sucks because it's like no one really knows each other, but everyone has to figure something out to survive.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, though, Blaine's main priority is Blaine, and Blaine doesn't like. Blaine's whole thing is this entire series has been being his own boss and not having to answer to anyone. So like, given the opportunity to not have to answer to anyone anymore,
he's gonna take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Do we think that Renegade's gonna like? I feel like she's stronger than that. I feel like there's no way she's gonna go down without a fight.
Oh, she's definitely gonna go down with a fight.
Or you think she's because like sometimes you see this like Blaine obviously has taken over anybody he's wanted to. You know what I mean? So what do you guys think is gonna happen with Renegade?
Well, now it's like she has kind of like Liv on her side. So I feel like if anything is to happen, it's like she would have like Liv and Ravi and like those guys, like the good guys, I guess you can say. It's kind of like Angus versus Blaine versus Fillmore Graves versus Liv and Renegade. So I feel like if anything was to happen, she would have them on her side. Because they only know the good side of her. Like, not saying there is a bad side, but they know her as that.
Right. And we do know that this guy, I wrote down his name, Dalton. We know that Dalton is selling the brains of those people that are getting killed inside, like, the Fillmore Graves area. So that's kind of interesting because he was, like, just joking about selling these and having the pictures and everything. And that's where the source is coming from. So we know, like, they're just, like...
You know what? Sorry, now that you say that, it's weird because it is like they're luring people in because they have these people's profiles from Facebook. True. Sorry, it's like you triggered something because it's like, well, how the hell would they get their profile pages?
And it was like LinkedIn, it was a Facebook photo. I mean, and that's the thing though, is that it was a Facebook message group on what was the book? Mr. Darcy. I can't remember the book. Bridget Jones.
Oh, Bridget Jones.
Not Mr. Darcy. Yeah, whatever.
Mark Darcy and Matt, I know.
But so they were in the Bridget Jones chat group, so it probably was on Facebook. So maybe he is a lurer. Like he's not a coyote, but he's a lurer to be like, or maybe the coyotes went to him and like he doesn't even know he's being a suspect or like he's being one of those people that is a lure. I don't know.
Maybe like before they kill the people, they're like, give me your social media.
I thought what was really interesting about the whole thing, and maybe I'm like very telling of like my surroundings, but it kind of reminded me of being like in a dispensary where they break down like how everything's supposed to make you feel, and like they're like, well, this strand is very like blah blah blah, and I like, and they like have the books like that in California, at least. I don't know about, well, I mean, it's probably illegal where you are, but it's not here. So they have like the books and everything like that, and like there's the full profile breakdown page, and it just reminded me of like, I think you'll really like this. It has a really like strong finish and blah blah blah.
That was dope because he's like, try this sample of a mime, and he had like the book, and I like that part, and he had like the different parts of the brain. I was like, this is very interesting.
Pretty crazy though, and it'll be interesting to see what Blaine actually I just don't want Renegade to go away because she's the only good guy, and those people need to get caught.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with these coyotes screwing people over.
I'm a good guy.
But speaking of people screwing people over,
yeah.
Dale, what is she doing?
Listen.
The chipmunk that.
That was a good metaphor.
The deranged chipmunk.
Yo, so damn, because I love Clive so much. So because they can't have sex.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is like a thing where they've sat down and talked about it, where
Right.
he's like, you can get your thing and I can get my thing, or I wonder if she's really sneaking around and.
I was wondering that same thing. So I was wondering if one, she was sneaking around, or two, I was wondering if maybe she's undercover for something. Not undercover because she's not an undercover cop, but like maybe this is part of her to like ploy to try to find out who
That's
people are,
true.
the coyotes. Like maybe this is part of her job. That's what I
Right.
was thinking, only because they seem to have such a great connection. So I don't feel like this is going to be a lie. I feel like it might be with Liv's whole Annie personality. She might like blab it to everybody, and then he'll be like, whoa, dude, like I know about this and you need to back off of my relationship.
Yeah. I kind of wish she would have said something. I feel like that she was going to, and then she didn't. But I kind of wish that she would have. I agree with you. I think that it's going to be some sort of twist because iZombie always throws you for a loop, and something always happens where it's just you think that one thing's going to happen, and it's the complete opposite. So I agree.
And if that's the case, that like they're allowed to kind of step out on each other, I felt like there was a weird little spark there for a second with the new like cadet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be mad if that was his side piece.
Ooh. I will say, I think she might be on there a few more times because, of course, I was on the Twitters and people were welcoming her to the show. They're like, it's so great to see you on the show. And Malcolm, who plays Clive, he's like, yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, so I feel like she might be on the show a couple more times.
Right, yeah.
It was a cute little spark. But I don't see Dale just cheating on
Yeah.
Clive.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
Gotta-
either something was said or it's really about work because she loves her job.
Yeah, I feel like
Right.
there's got to be some sort of reasoning
And
behind that.
Yeah, and
I
I
agree.
feel like we spent all last season them being apart or whatever.
Right.
So it wouldn't really make sense for
To
them
do
to
it
be back
again.
together and
Exactly.
then step out. Yeah.
But I did like how Liv came at her and called her the deranged chipmunk.
That was good. That
I
was
was
really
like,
good.
yes, Liv/Annie.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of wraps up all the characters and things that have happened this episode. So we're going to go into our special segment that we're going to start doing every week, which is talking about the brain food of the episode.
Brain power.
Brain food. So this one was specifically she made chocolates that she put brains in them.
It looks so good.
It looked, when
did.
she was melting that chocolate, I was like, this is amazing.
I wanted some brain candy because, like, I feel like every time she makes brain food, it looks very interesting, and I love the way how they shoot it.
Yeah.
How they're over her shoulder and like how they're doing certain
Like
things.
tasty videos.
Yeah, it's
Speed.
exactly like that. But I love the way she was making the chocolate. Even the music they were
I was
playing.
gonna say that. Yeah.
It's like love music, and then even the way she took her first bite, it was like she was falling in love.
The way she always takes that first bite of her food is has such a like. I don't know, like the way that she puts her face or whatever what she does, it's so eccentric.
They need to do
Yeah,
an
it
iZombie
is.
cooking special
Yeah, they
on
do.
like social media.
Oh, Ivan is absolutely right. We totally forgot to talk about Blaine having the cures.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh. Thank you, Ivan. That is so true. He
been
said he
already on
had
point.
6 of them? No, 16. He had 16 cures. So how did he get them?
So I'm
He
guessing
stole them.
I'm guessing he stole them, but I think it's interesting that he's using them as like a rather than like a oh thank God like I'm cured.
Right.
It's more of like a threat.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, I'm wondering if it even is a cure.
That's true.
that
You know
is
what I mean?
true.
Like, what if it's just he's saying I have a cure and
Well-
freaking these people
well, no,
out?
that's
but he's
the-
not.
He's eating the guy's brain at the end of it, so I'm assuming it's a cure because it
Oh,
would have been
that's
pretty.
true.
Yeah, that's true.
He
And that's
probably-
and I think that's the cure that Ravi was working on because that's the case that he had. But he was still testing it. But I like what you said, Drew, because it is true. Like, he's using it to threaten people and not
He
to
is,
actually
yeah.
help and save people. And I know that they were looking for the cure and it went missing. So at first we thought it was like Dawn. I mean, where they are the same crew, but
Right.
had a feeling it would be either because this is when Blaine was pretending to.
Right.
Well, when he got it, not pretending, when he got his memory back, so he was lying. So I think that's why it was easy for him to steal.
jacket.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
the
so
cure.
true because he probably threatened the guy until he got the answer he needed, like gave him the cure, killed him, and then ate his brain.
Yeah, because dude was like, I no more Parkinson's. And he's like, oh, well, actually.
That makes me so sad. Like, why does Blaine have this?
So wait, if they had something before the cure, or not the cure, if they have something before they turn into a zombie and they get turned back into a human, do they go back to those?
I wonder.
that's a
to
good
their,
question,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
would he have Parkinson's again?
I wonder, do you get
that's
your
a good
ailments or
question,
do you just die?
Yeah.
Because Anthony, who was getting ready to die, said Renegade actually saved his life with just one scratch. So it's like you go back to the point where you're literally right about to die,
Yeah.
or do you get all your ailments back?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good question.
That would make sense though if he would he was going back to his.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I think that's why it's so easy for him to threaten people like, oh, well, really?
Yeah.
Well, I can actually turn you back and you'll have your Parkinson's, you'll be sick and you will actually die.
Oh my gosh, that would be kind of interesting because obviously he's gone back and forth 3 times now, but well, no, because maybe obviously it's a different line of the cure, but when Major was turned back into a human, he was just went back to his final self. He didn't go back to having a wound.
But I think that
true, yeah.
I think something like Parkinson's is DNA,
Yeah.
right? Whereas a wound is a wound.
Right.
That wasn't the most intelligent way.
No,
to put
but
it
I
together.
No, but I got what you're saying.
We know what you mean.
Where
Yeah.
he would have the Parkinson's or you would have an ailment that's really serious, but you wouldn't have a cut or a stab
Yeah.
wound.
I don't think he told him who Renegade was. To
No,
be
I don't
honest.
think so.
I don't
Yeah.
think he gave it up, especially when he was like, "I didn't give up anything, and I'm not telling you
Right.
anything."
Right.
But he's eating his brain because he knows he's gonna get that vision, and I think
Oh.
that's why
Yeah.
that's why he's like, we
my
can do this
gosh.
easier, we can do this the hard way.
Nakia, that
Nakia
is so
with the
smart.
facts.
You know what I'm saying? Blaine was like, that's fine, you don't have to tell me,
yeah,
I'll just get
I'll
it out
see
of
it,
you.
yeah.
So I think he's
Dang.
gonna have those visions,
That was-
unfortunately, and hopefully our girl Renegade can get out of there.
Got it.
Man, so many questions to be answered.
Yeah.
I'm
Such a good episode.
It was.
But
yeah.
back to the brain food thing, I couldn't possibly do I'm one of those I mindlessly
Yeah.
if there's one something like that, I'll eat 4 because I'm not paying attention.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to ration that out.
yeah.
That's like Reese's. You can't just have one.
No, that's why
Yeah.
she was eating the candy, and she was literally like, "I'm like, yeah, that's me. I'm eating the whole container." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Well, there's my supply for the week."
Right.
Yes, I loved the chocolate hearts. They were so in character. And now I guess I hadn't always realized that some of the food that she made kind of has to do with the character she is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of the week. And I don't know why today was a light bulb that, duh.
Yeah.
No, I just
Wasn't
gotta
last week a martini?
Martini
Yeah.
with the
And
old lady.
that was very
The Steelers fan was the buffalo chicken
Yeah.
for the game. That's when I
Yeah.
actually got it. I was like, oh.
Yeah,
I
but I don't
never
know.
thought
Today
about
it was today it was a ding, ding, ding. Even though I've seen it and put the
Right.
context
Yeah.
together, today was a duh moment.
A
A duh moment. But Drew, since you've been in the live chat, would you want to give a fan shout out to anybody that's been pretty active today?
Yeah, sure. I want to give a shout out to Nakia Emmanuel. She has brought some really good points throughout the show, and she has the same name as
I know.
Nakia.
It's not that often that I see another Nakia. So shout out to
Nakia.
Nakia Emmanuel. And she spells it exactly like me. Not that she was named after me, but her mother gave her the same spelling. That's cool.
Yeah, so shout out to Nakia. Thanks for
Yes.
being in the chat and being
Yeah.
active.
We
Hey,
appreciate
girl.
you guys, and we appreciate everybody else in the chat. Don't think we forgot about you, because we 100% did not forget about you. We see all of your thoughts and comments, and we appreciate you joining us every week. And again, please be sure to tweet us every week and make sure you're commenting about things that are happening on the show, or sharing any other tidbits of information that you may know about these actors, because we will definitely take that into consideration for next week's Fan of the Week. Well, guys, before we wrap up, we've got to get into our predictions for next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Yes, Black Panther.
Shawnteairra,
Yes.
it's you.
Oh wow. Okay. So to piggyback off what I said earlier, obviously I think that Jordan's gonna be saved. I'm curious to see how that's gonna unfold. I don't think it's gonna be anything. Yeah, I really don't think it's gonna be. I don't think she's gonna end up getting killed or anything like that. But I'm just curious to see how that whole thing's gonna unfold with Major kind of saving her with that whole fake story. 'Cause I still believe it's fake. I also believe Angus. He wasn't on this episode, so I believe he's gonna be back next episode. I feel like I want him and Blaine to just cross paths. I'm
So bad.
yeah, I'm like, I want it to happen so bad. So I think that I'm just speaking into existence that I want that to happen. And then Liv and Major. Oh no, I'm sorry, Ravi and Peyton, because I saw
Yes.
the chemistry with them. And even with her asking him to be the wingman, I was like, she was.
She tried it.
Yeah, she tried it. and I know that how I feel about Ravi and Peyton, but I mean, I was kind of feeling it this time, I guess. So I think that they're gonna probably hit it off.
I love it.
Yeah.
Drew, what are you thinking?
I think what's the head guy from More Great Chase? I think something might end up happening to Chase. I think Chase might, because they even said like you're gonna have 10,000 hungry zombies coming after you. I think Chase might not be around for the end game, and I think it's gonna end up being Major who's gonna have to.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Like take the reins and navigate this, and so I think we're gonna see that going. That's like what direction Major's gonna go in. I do think the Ravi and Peyton, there's some sparks there tonight, so I want to see that kind of
Play out.
and then I'm still waiting for the Blaine and Angus. I want it so bad.
That's the ship we're waiting for.
That's
I
all
feel like the amount that everybody wants it, I feel like it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
Within
For
like
sure.
2 episodes. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Nakia.
I think that since Blaine ate the brain of Anthony, he's definitely going to get an idea and figure out who Renegade is. But I think when he comes from Renegade, I think now that because she has a relationship with Liv and Ravi, like it's gonna, and she already has a beef with Blaine, Liv. So I feel like that might be like a little thing that's gonna happen. I do feel like Liv is gonna either blow up the spot about Dale or Dale and Clive. Like it's either she's gonna tell the truth, like I'm doing this for work, or maybe she is trying to get her loving on the side. So I would love to see what that's about. And Ravi and Peyton are definitely gonna hook up. But I think she still has feelings for Blaine, so that's going to be super complicated. So I would love to see that threesome. And I just want to see more of Malcolm and Rose, a.k.a. Liv and Clive, because they literally have, like, they're 2 of my favorite people
I could
on
watch
screen.
Clive all day.
He's
Same.
I have like a little major crush on him.
When I don't get too much of him in the episode, I'm like, wait, where
Right.
was I need more
He's
Clive?
the whole cast, the whole show is amazing. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So I think that's gonna happen. And I think you're absolutely right about Major stepping in and kind of taking the role, but doing it a positive way and kind of working with kids again, but like saving them. So
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, bouncing off of that, I love that theory and everything, and I think it definitely, he's going to find a way to spin this in a positive light for sure and figure out how to really help everybody.
Right.
And I think I don't think him and Liv are going to start talking just yet. It's going to take a couple more episodes, but I mean, I feel like even after tonight, he knows it's an undeniable chemistry between them. Because he even he had to remind himself, and that's why he said it out loud. Like, he was like, we're still in a fight. I can't talk to you right now.
Right.
He had to remind himself about that. But
so
I love everybody's predictions, and well, let's pull one from the chat. If anybody has a prediction from the chat, can we pull one? If I see someone agrees that, let's see, will Major get worse and worse though?
Ooh.
I don't know.
I don't know. Major,
I don't know.
It's like Major has to play the role of like Major and then his jaw, because as you can see when in the last episode where Ravi and Liv try to get through and he was like fine.
Yeah.
So it's like he's still Major, but it is tough because he's gonna have to like is he gonna put his jaw before Major? So that's a good question.
Well, I don't know if we have any predictions in the chat, but make sure you guys tweet us your predictions and we will retweet them and try to bring them up next week. But I guess that brings us to a wrap of episode 3 for iZombie. Ladies, Shawnteairra, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Shawnteairra.
And Drew Jones.
And you can find me on all the things at OKDrewJ.
Nakia.
You can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom.
And hey guys, find me on Twitter at Ally Nasta and on Instagram at Ally Girl. And of course, follow AfterBuzz TV on all social media platforms. And be sure to tweet us so we can shout you out next week. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.